InfoPlus for genuine information.
Namaste and welcome to this special edition of our program InfoPlus on Himalayan TV with me, your host Terai. We have traveled all the way from Nepal to New Delhi to bring you an exclusive conversation with His Excellency Federico Salas Lotfe, the ambassador of Mexico to Nepal. Nepal and Mexico established diplomatic relations on November 25, 1975 and have maintained a friendly and cooperative relationship. Coming to you straight from the embassy in New Delhi. Namaste, Excellency. Hola.
Namaste. Very nice to meet you.
Thank you.
Welcome,
Thank you so
welcome
much
to
for
the Embassy of
welcoming us
Mexico.
Federico Salas Lotfe is a senior Mexican diplomat, concurrently serving as ambassador of Mexico to India since October 2019.
Oh, well, this is a reproduction of of the Gandhi when he was weaving textiles. So this was a gift that was given to me. All of these are things that have been gifted to me over time.
So beautiful.
With concurrent accreditation to Nepal, Bangladesh, Maldives and Sri Lanka.
This is also from our military people.
Oh, okay.
When they do ceremonies, they wear a sable like this. Of course, this is a small reproduction, and it was gifted to me by our military attaches here at the embassy.
He holds a bachelor degree in government from Harvard University, studies in political science.
Let me tell you, in the 1960s, we were privileged to have, this is Octavio Paz, who was the Mexican ambassador at the time. And then he was a writer and a poet, and he became a Nobel Prize winner in literature. And these are photos of him in the former residence of Mexico with Indira Gandhi here. And this is again with Prime Minister Indira Gandhi. And this is the wife of the ambassador, of Octavio Paz. And for us, it's a very important and very symbolic thing because this is one of the greatest figures of certainly one of our great literary figures. And he was an ambassador here, and so we're tremendously proud. This was a summit that took place in Mexico in the 80s when we were working on disarmament issues, and that's the President of Mexico, the Prime Minister of Greece, the Prime Minister of Sweden, the President of Argentina, the Prime Minister of India, Mr. Rajiv Gandhi, and the President of Tanzania. And the 6 leaders were working on the whole question of the suspension of nuclear testing. This is in the 80s when this whole issue to stop the proliferation. Mexico has always been very active in the whole disarmament issues and promoting so that the non-proliferation of nuclear weapons, and this was one of the initiatives that we were working on. Well, but Nepal has also been very supportive. I mean, Nepal has always been a very peace-loving country and has also been very supportive of the efforts of Mexico on the whole question of denuclearization of regions and areas of the world. So we're very happy that we have been able to do this kind of work also with Nepal.
His focus has been on strengthening economic and cultural ties, particularly enhancing Mexico to Nepal relations within the broader South Asian context.
This is a piece of Mayan art. It's an archaeological piece. You know, the Mayan civilization was in Mexico, in southwest Mexico, in the first millennium, and there were, you know, a major civilization in the Americas. So this is a head, a very typical head of some of their sculptures in Mexico. And we have this reproduction here. Of course, these are very, very valuable pieces. The original.
How old is this piece?
This is probably 700-800 years.
Oh my God.
Something like that.
InfoPlus for genuine information.
Namaste, Excellency, and hola. Welcome to the show InfoPlus on Himalayan Television, a diplomat series which has been running since 20 years. And we are so much honored and privileged to have you here on our show. And very much thank you to you to have us here at the Embassy of Mexico here in New Delhi.
So thank you very much. I'm very pleased that you're here, and I'm very glad that I have this opportunity to talk to you and to your audience.
Your Excellency, Nepal and Mexico shares diplomatic relations 1975. It's
Correct.
A long relationship. Could you give us an overview of this bilateral relationship?
Yes, as you correctly say, since 1975 we've had diplomatic relations. So this year we're commemorating 50 years of this diplomatic relationship, half a century, and we're very happy that that is taking place. We've always had a very cordial and very fluid relationship over this past 5 decades. A lot of the relationship and the communication, the work that we have done together has been done mostly in multilateral fora during this time. But more recently, we are trying to enhance and strengthen the bilateral, the direct relationship between Mexico and Nepal, and that is something that is evolving, and I hope that is going to strengthen in the future.
As I mentioned, we have completed 50 years of diplomatic ties, and how do you think the two countries have interacted in the past?
Well, as I said, I think it's been very productive and very beneficial for both of us. We have, as I said, worked together very closely in different forums of the UN. And just to give you an example, we are presently, Mexico and Nepal are co-presiding the Forum on Development, and there's going to be a fourth, financing for development. There's going to be a fourth meeting of this forum in a couple of months in Spain, in the city of Seville. And this is, it's being co-presided by Nepal and by Mexico. So this is the kind of good work that we have been doing and that we will continue to do in the future.
Nepal and Mexico share a long-distance diplomatic relationship. How would you describe the current state of bilateral relationship between two countries?
Well, I would say it's good, but it's not enough. The level of our trade is about $1.6 billion a year, but the potential is there for much more. And this is something that I have personally explored in my visits to Kathmandu with different business groups, with chambers of commerce, and trying to encourage more and more of them to look towards Mexico. I think that for the longest time we have, I mean, of course there is a distance. We're far apart, but I think it's important, especially for our business communities, to seek the opportunities that exist to enhance and diversify the trade relationship that we have, and even to look at the possibilities of investments in both directions, and the potential that is there from Mexico towards Nepal and from Nepal towards Mexico. I do hope that in the foreseeable future we will be able to have maybe delegations of the business community of both countries travel to the other country, because I think that is probably the best way for them to know, understand, and discover what the potential is in the relationship.
And Your Excellency, what has been the key milestones in this relationship?
Well, I think there has been, as I said, I think the potentials are there, and I think as a milestone, I would repeat this: the good rapport that we have and the work that we have been doing in international organizations. We have, for example, one area where Nepal has distinguished itself quite a bit, which is in peacekeeping operations. Mexico has been a latecomer to the peacekeeping operations world of the United Nations, and we have certainly benefited very much to learn from the experience of countries like Nepal in this aspect.
Trade between Mexico and Nepal has been traditionally modest, but we believe, since we share a long history together, we believe there are so many sectors where we can give some initiations. During a tenure, do you have any initiations or agreements for these?
Well, we have some agreements, to facilitate the trade relationship. But beyond that, as I was saying before, I think what's important is to focus on what sectors will be of interest to the business communities, both of Mexico and Nepal, and explore that. For example, most of what we are importing from Nepal is in the textile area, which is very important. It's very beautiful, and we very much appreciate that. But I think there's certainly much more that Nepal can give to Mexico, and we're really looking forward.
So in which sector do you see more potential in trade and economic?
Well, I think there's potential in the energy sector and certain industrial activities where we can certainly benefit from what Nepal has to offer. And in the other direction, I think that we can offer Nepal many different kinds of products. That Mexico is an industrial powerhouse in many respects, in the auto business, in the chemical business, in the energy business, and these are the kind of things that we will be very glad to share with our friends in Nepal.
So I believe we can work together in these sectors in coming years during your tenure, Your Excellency.
I hope so. Yes.
Mexico has experience in areas like sustainable development, social welfare, and rural development. How can Mexico and Nepal work together to achieve these goals?
Well, you've mentioned some very important aspects. I think, Mexico has distinguished itself in terms of the policies of development that we have achieved. And I think that countries like Nepal and many others, of course, can benefit from the experience, from the best practices, let's put it that way, that we have been able to implement in Mexico. I think there's a lot of talk nowadays of what the countries of the global south can do together, and these are certainly examples of some of these things that we can share, and where we can work together precisely to improve the development projects of both our countries.
Mexico and Nepal, they are both rich in cultural and heritage.
That is true.
What can we do to promote cultural between two countries?
Well, there's another very, very important aspect. I think, as you know, Nepal is a country that has a few sites that are in the World Heritage List of UNESCO. The same thing as Mexico. And Nepal, like Mexico, is a country that has over time been affected by natural disasters like the terrible earthquake,
climate change and natural disaster.
So, for example, we have experience in Mexico in terms of reconstruction, in terms of restoration, in terms of preservation of archaeological sites. These are the kind of things that we certainly can share with Nepal. But beyond that, not just in terms of what the as the consequences of disasters can be, but what can we do together? And there's a lot that we can do together to preserve those cultural sites that we have both in Mexico and in Nepal, that we are so proud of, that are part of our heritage, and that Mexico certainly has a great deal of experience in preserving and highlighting these sites, and also making them more accessible to people. Nowadays, with the tourism flows growing very high, it's important also to balance this aspect of that we want our culture to be appreciated by as many people as possible, but at the same time we have to protect it not to be affected by the footprint of so many people coming to see these sites.
As we can see, lots of Nepalese students are being going abroad for their further educations.
Yes.
I would like to know about the education system of Mexico for the Nepalese students who would like to seek their further educations, and also is there any scholarship facilities there? Yeah,
there are opportunities. We have scholarship programs. We usually make them known to the appropriate authorities in Nepal every time that Mexico has these possibilities. We share this information, as I said, through the Foreign Ministry of Nepal, and we have an honorary consulate in Kathmandu that helps us also disseminate this information. So we will be very happy if Nepalese students see certain aspects of studies that they could pursue in Mexico. We will be very happy to receive them within the framework of these scholarships.
As we know, Mexico has a very strong agriculture expertise, particularly in areas like agribusiness and food security.
Correct.
What areas of agriculture production do you think Mexico and Nepal can expand to enhance food security in Nepal?
Well, this is an area where there's already some work going on. There's an organization called the CIMIT, which was founded as an outgrow of the so-called Green Revolution of the late 60s and 70s. And it's basically based in Mexico, but it also does some work in Nepal. And we have been working through that institution with Nepalese agribusiness, precisely for what you've mentioned, how to increase the yield of crops and therefore strengthen our food security and the availability of agricultural resources for all of us and for our peoples.
As you mentioned earlier that both the countries is very rich in culture and heritage, how do you think we can boost tourism in both countries, Excellency?
Well, I think, coming back to what I said earlier, I think we need to know each other better and to know more about each other. I'm glad to see that more and more Mexican tourists are coming to Nepal and to appreciate both its natural beauty and its historical heritage richness that exists in Nepal. And we certainly hope that Nepalese people will come to Mexico and also appreciate what we have to offer. One of the things that we need to work on, and this is, I think, hopefully something that we can improve in the future, is the connectivity that we have between both countries, so that it will be easier for people, because we are, as I said before, on opposite sides of the world. So we need to make it, less difficult for people to come here, and from people from Nepal to come to Mexico. Hopefully we will be able to do that, because I think it's very important to know each other in that sense. But as I said, I think the promotion and the kind of publicity that we can give on each other's offerings I think are very important.
Mexico and Nepal has been advocate for materialism and peace.
Yes.
How can Mexico support Nepal's positions in international forums such as United Nations, particularly in promoting peace, sustainable development, Your Excellency?
Well, as I said, we have been doing a lot of work with Nepal in international organizations, particularly in the UN, in this regard. We have been very supportive of the very remarkable and good work that Nepal has been doing in participating in peacekeeping operations of the United Nations. During our tenures over the years as members, non-permanent members of the United Nations Security Council, we have always been very supportive of the work that Nepal has been doing precisely in this aspect of peacekeeping, of promoting peace, and this kind of things. We will continue to do that, certainly. But we're also working together in different issues. I mentioned this conference on financing for development. Both Nepal and Mexico, as developing countries, this is something that is of priority importance, and this is again something that we will be continuing not only to support Nepal, but to work together with Nepal to achieve the goals that we want. And there's also other forums where we coincide. Just last year, for example, there was this forum on equality of rights, and especially gender-related issues, where the foreign minister of Nepal was present at the time, and we have been working with Nepal also to because our priorities are very similar, our means of achieving the goals that we want are also very similar. So we're working in that direction together with Nepal. And we will continue to do so.
Your Excellency, can you give us an overview of your journey in diplomacy since when I've been talking with you sounds very interesting. So I would like to know about the journey, how we entered in diplomacy.
Well, I joined the Foreign Service. It's been almost now 40 some years in the early 1980s.
Very inspiring.
And my earlier work with the Foreign Ministry was precisely in the multilateral area with United Nations related issues. And my first ventures outside of Mexico City was to participate in the General Assembly of the United Nations and other meetings that were taking place in New York at the UN, where I had the chance even then at the time to work together with some of my Nepalese colleagues. And then I had a stint both in New York at the United Nations, at the Mexican mission to the UN, and my first bilateral mission was in Washington, D.C., at our Embassy of Mexico to the United States. And later, I have been ambassador to the Czech Republic, to Israel, to Indonesia. I was permanent representative of Mexico to UNESCO in Paris, where I also did a lot of work with my Nepalese colleagues in promoting our mutual cultural heritage and assuring that the richness of our culture is well preserved for generations to come. And I have been now here in India and also accredited to Nepal since 2019. I presented my credentials in Nepal in February, 5 years ago of 2020, and in a very beautiful ceremony. Even though I had been to Nepal before as a tourist, and I have been to Nepal since, and I hope to come back again soon.
Yeah. What do you say about the country Nepal and its people, since you have visited a few times?
Well, first of all, it's a wonderful country. I mean, I just love the richness of its culture, its diversity. The people are, very nice, and it's just it's a very impressive country. And I do hope that more and more people from Mexico learn to appreciate that about Nepal. I'm glad to see also that, as I was saying, that there's more Mexicans coming to Nepal for tourism, but also there's not too many, but there's a few Mexicans that are settled in Nepal, and some of them, I know, a couple of them have even opened some Mexican restaurants in Kathmandu. And this is, for us, it's also something very important, because I think that as we promote the Mexican cuisine and Mexican drinks such as tequila in Nepal, the Nepalese people will be more curious and more interested to know more about Mexico.
And it's very famous Mexican dishes, and
yes.
The culture is famous everywhere globally.
Absolutely.
And finally, Excellency, what do you think we should do to boost the bilateral relationship between two countries?
Well, I mean, certainly one thing that could be very important is to have any kind of high-level visits of a mutual nature. And this is something that we hope to encourage in the future. It would also be, a great thing if we could eventually establish more of, for example, if Nepal could open an embassy in Mexico City, for example. But beyond that, I think that we should continue the work that we have been doing, and as I said also before, to at least to promote the idea that members of our business community, but also maybe political delegations, come to Nepal, and from Nepal come to Mexico, and therefore explore the many additional possibilities that are there to enhance the relationship, to strengthen what we have, to open new avenues of cooperation between our two countries.
Thank you so much for your time, Your Excellency, and thank you again for welcoming us here at the Mexico Embassy in New Delhi and sharing your insight with us.
It is my pleasure. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Namaste and Ola.
Oh, thank you so much.
InfoPlus, for genuine information.
That brings us to the end of this special interview with His Excellency Federico Salas Lotfe, the Ambassador of Mexico to Nepal. Here in New Delhi, it has been a privilege to travel from Nepal to bring you this conversation, highlighting the growing friendship and cooperation between our two nations. Thank you for watching this exclusive edition on Himalayan TV. Until next time, take care and namaste.
InfoPlus, for genuine information.